coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can't talk about, Shani. Get ready to start the show. You're with Shani and you know we're gonna talk. Ordinary people and extraordinary God. Check the reference in Ephesians 5. We walking in the light and we're living in love. You know with Shani we gon' keep it intact. Cause every Monday got it coming. Yeah, we coming right back. So act like you know we get it on and poppin' at the Shani Show. You can talk to Shani anytime. It doesn't matter day or night. Shani, we're giving you light and love. We're coming on without a doubt. There's nothing you can't talk about with Shani. Welcome to another Sharing with Shani show. I am your host, Shani, and I forgot to change my name when I came back in because of the slight technical difficulty. I don't know what happened, y'all, but I took my video off to start, and then I couldn't find my video. So I think you know what I hit, Mika? I hit hide self view. I don't know how to. I don't know. Yeah, so we're gonna stop doing.
I got you.
That doesn't make sense.
It's all good.
We have a West Coaster in the building tonight. Well, she's not in the building. I keep saying that because I am manifesting the fact that one day we will have a show in person. You know, we'll have like a whole talk show and all that. But we have a West Coaster in as our guest tonight, and so I'm really excited about Reketta Nesmith to come and share. And so, but before we get there, Mika Fresh, how are you?
I'm all right. Ooh, excuse me. I'm okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Because people would be like, "Oh my goodness, she sneezed."
Run. Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. So, what's going on, Mika, on this 8th day of Black History Month?
So, what's not going on? I am all right. Just a little bit about what I have going on is I'm trying to finish up this. You know what? I'm trying to finish up some writing for an application. Okay. I feel like I need to protect it. And I don't know why. That could be something internal or it could be God saying protect it. I don't really know, but I'm not going to disclose what it's for because that's really heavy on my heart. But I have some writing to do. So I have deadlines and I don't know what's wrong with me. Self-imposed deadlines are really difficult. And I'm not going to lie and blame it on the pandemic because it really doesn't have anything to do with that. But it's difficult. It's like I have become accustomed to working in that, 11th hour crunch time. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Procrastination is ugly. It's the devil. And I really like, I don't like it. I don't like the feeling of rushing, to get things done and then having to, all the things that you have to do when you waited to submit something for a deadline, right? Like everything has to shut down and most likely you're awake well past your bedtime and probably calling in sick when you ain't sick because you got this deadline, all that other stuff. I know I ain't the only one. So y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't want to do that anymore. So what I've been what I've been working on is breaking it down to where maybe I have something to do, not necessarily every day, but often enough to where I feel like I'm still being productive so that I can meet the big deadline. But setting my own deadlines is like, I don't even respect myself. I don't even listen to myself. That's a problem. Maybe I need to bring that up in therapy. I don't know. It's an issue. You're on mute, Shani.
I had to go on mute because I'll be using the two devices because
yeah.
I don't have child, I don't even want to talk about what I don't have. We're
It's
going to
okay. We're gonna talk about what we do have.
right.
It's
But
all good.
I'm the producer and the co-host, and so
Operations manager.
right. So I go on mute while you start talking to give me time to set up Facebook on my phone and then tag Reketta because I couldn't tag her when I was setting up the live page. It was a lot going on in that
Got you.
7-minute thing. But going back to self-imposed deadlines, look,
hmm
my book that I know is about to. I don't even want to hype. I feel like I'm doing too much hype of the book. So when y'all get the book, everybody
hmm
gonna be mad. This is what we waited for. But the good thing is for me, and this is what I've come to realize, the book really isn't for Black people.
hmm.
The book is really it is really my journey into how I
I
am
had to go on mute
becoming.
because
Oh, that was somebody else talking.
that was me. That
Oh,
was
I
me.
was like,
That was
did
you
I do
talking, and that was me.
I was like,
Nope.
I just said that. The book is about how my journey into this kind of social faith justice activist, right?
Say
And
that again. Social faith justice
activist
activists. All right.
in a way, and because I realized that activism comes in different forms, right?
Uh huh. Mm-hmm.
Like I don't have to necessarily be out there protesting. Not that I've never done that because I have.
Mm-hmm.
But activism comes in different forms,
Most
and
definitely.
and my greatest gift is writing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
clear on that, right? And so there's got to be a reason that God would place me in up in these positions of being able to navigate into all white spaces, and then of course being Black, and then going,
Mm-hmm.
and so, but it had to be for a reason. It can't just be because my mother wanted to move 3,000 miles away and be closer to her parents for me to be exposed to getting called the N-word at, which I don't call it the N-word in the book. I actually spell out the word, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
put it out here on live.
All
But
right.
being called the N-word at 6 years old, and then going through these different um the these different scenarios that have shaped me into who I am today,
Mm-hmm.
and why I couldn't just talk about prayer and spiritual intimacy in 2020.
Okay.
So that, with that being said, there I put this deadline on myself, not
Mm-hmm.
recognizing the PTSD and the trauma
Mm.
of reliving those moments. I didn't put that into I didn't prepare
Didn't think it was
myself.
an issue.
No. So
Mm-hmm.
this is probably the hardest book I've ever written. Not
Good.
right. So
Yeah.
I finally, when the first soft deadline or whatever it was
Mm-hmm.
came and went, and then I put myself on another deadline, and that came and went. I was like, you know what? The book come out when it's ready. Like I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
gonna do it anymore. But
Mm-hmm.
I finally figured out, because in my mind, and I don't want to make this about me, so I'm gonna stop talking and let you continue. But for me,
Hey, it's about all of us.
when it comes to writing,
Mm-hmm.
in my head, I've got to formulate. It's gotta, I gotta have it from A to Z, what it's gonna look like from A
Okay.
to Z before I actually start writing, because
Okay.
I'm a lazy writer. So like I don't want to just write and then have to go back and send it to the editor and they say, Shani, this needs to go here. Like I want to already have it so it just flows, if that makes sense. And I can figure out how to make it flow in the structure that I'm used to and that my readers are used to. So that's what I had all my notes together and like literally in the last 36 hours I figured out the structure.
Okay.
Man.
That's nice.
Oh yes, because I've been writing nonstop.
That's good.
So go back to your
all right. Just a note, you might want to lock the meeting though, because we got others. So go to participants and the little caret that's by participants, and it'll give you options, and it should say a couple different things. I'm not the host, so I can't see all the options.
I'm gonna make you the host because I don't see that.
Okay.
Lock meeting.
All right.
I found it.
There you go. That's it. Right. That's the one.
So Reketta, tell your folks, because we don't want to let people to miss out on this. So tell your folks to go to Facebook. I'm public. I tagged you. I hope they're listening. So
and the link is over here in the chat.
And the link is over there in the chat.
So so you guys can go on Facebook Live to Shani's page on Shani McWayne. The link is right here in the chat in Zoom. So Sheena,
Carlicia's there. There. Shakara is there. Are all these people from the West Coast?
Yeah. Well, Carlicia. We have a mixture of West and East Coast. So Carlicia is from the East Coast. Sheena is from the East Coast. Also Shakara is West Coast, and Cherie West Coast. Norman Bolden, he's East Coast, and Bianca, she's on the East Coast.
All right, look at all these little Zoomers on here on my show. Y'all can come on too now. We booked through May though. Mika, did I tell you we were booked through May?
Oh, awesome.
That's what's up though.
We are booked through May. I've been hustling.
So
awesome.
I want to address Shakara really quick. Shakara, I kind of chuckled when I read it. When I was talking about procrastination.
Yes.
She responded, she said it could be fear. Well, she said the root of it is fear. And I chuckled because who that sound like, Shani? Me.
Yes.
Right. So I have explored this, right? I have explored it, like what's attached. And so I asked her, I ain't asked her, I asked her fear of, and her response was rejection, failure, disapproval are all possibilities. And then we get into some clinical stuff here, which is great. And so I'm going to be honest, right? So my first answer is I have explored this, and the only fear that I identified was like a fear of losing out on rest. Okay. It's like the only fear that I have. I'm being so serious. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. For those of you who are new to this show, insomnia has attached itself to me. I am always freaking tired. And I also, okay. So here's the other thing that I recently identified. I'm always tired. Okay. And I realize that I'm always tired because I, the wellness whisperer, do not have enough self-care practices in place. I know, right?
It's always, but that's so true.
It's like the hairdresser whose hair ain't never done. Horrible.
But can slay. Can slay, and don't be using Gorilla Glue too. You know.
I feel bad for her.
I
It's not okay.
For her in this season of Lost, because
it's one of them things where, you know, when your child do something like that, you be like, what the? Listen, come here, baby. Just you love on them, and then you want to know where did it go wrong.
I shared my hair faux pas of 1996. When, as you can see, I wear glasses. I've been wearing glasses since my freshman year of college. And in 1996, I sprayed off bug repellent in my French roll, thinking it was hairspray because I didn't have my contacts in.
See, that was an accident, though.
Now, yes.
It was not a choice.
I will say this. I thought my hair was going to fall out because I was just like, oh my gosh, it's off. I had the shiniest French roll for like 6 days. Like, literally, when I
not the shiniest.
It was so shiny. It like ISO Plus, oil speed. They had nothing on this off bug spray.
That's saying a lot, though.
And so I don't know what was in it, but I'm just trying to tell you, my French roll was like sleek.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. The Gorilla Glue it's a misfortune, honestly. And I liked how, you know, some of the people, black hair is still a challenging, a touchy thing. It is. I don't think it should be. I don't know why we don't ever notice the different textures of white hair and why that's not an issue, and why we only focus on our hair. And I do know why. I wanted to stop. You know what I'm saying? For real, I wanted to stop, but I also want people, I would really like to see people stop being so impulsive. And I want to see more self-love. I do. More self-love. And I ain't diagnosing nobody, and I'm also not saying that she don't love herself and that's why she picked up Gorilla Glue. I'm not saying none of that. Right. What I am saying is our hair should not be a freaking trending topic all the time. It's hair. Hello. It's hair. Wigs, weaves, none of this stuff is new. Like, we invented it, okay? Weaving and false eyelashes, Egyptians. That's us. We got that. It's not a new thing, people. Chill out. Now, I will say the pressures of looking good and the pressures of social media could be what drove her to pick up that Gorilla Glue.
And
I'm gonna leave it there because I got other questions, but I'm gonna leave it there.
Yes.
Hair. I need people to understand this. Hair is a follicle. It is a living thing on your head. It is attached to a scalp. People, treat it like you would treat your skin. Seriously. No, if you wouldn't put certain products on your skin, if you wouldn't eat certain products, I encourage you not to use it at all on your body. And that's the end of my PSA.
So, yeah.
It's unfortunate because I think that girl gonna have to shave off her head. I'm so serious.
So she's gonna have to start all over. I mean, her scalp is gonna be really pissed off at her, but she's gonna have to.
Did you see the response that the Gorilla Glue manufacturers gave her?
What was that?
They gave her some attempts to like dissolve it, and they said if it is still not working, they fear that her hair is fractured at the scalp. Yeah.
Oh, poor child.
So there's that. And the hospital gave her some sterile water and alcohol. What those? Acetone. It sounds like we need a chemist somewhere. Some chemist got to know how to break this stuff down.
Well, maybe it's a chemist out there that's not, trying to get the vaccine.
Somebody help this girl. Somebody got to be able to help this girl.
This is why representation matters. It needs to be somebody that looks like her. that looks like
On another note, I use Gorilla Glue for a simple crafting project and it ain't work. So I'm like,
okay. We keep going off tangent.
we went off. Let me come back. All right. No self-care practices. Self-care practices.
Why don't
feeling overwhelmed because I'm a helper. I'm a really big helper that ain't learned how to help herself first. Boom. I put it out there. All right. Everybody is important. And I think sometimes helpers, I'm gonna keep this personal. I think sometimes I can kind of take for granted what I already know, right? I can take my intelligence for granted. I'm a little too smart for my britches. And I feel like, well, I know what to do, so I'll do it when I need to do it.
Yeah, I've done that too. Like
clearly,
I've had like me, myself, and I meetings, like a whole meeting. And I'm like, you know what? I'm calling you into my office.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. And
I probably need to do that a little more often.
Yeah.
But I had supervision on Friday, and I told my supervisor, I felt like recently I had ADD, and I was just like the multitasking distraction beast has been present since the summer, which is weird because it was before school started, right? Now, my child, Halo, has been doing virtual school since before COVID. We started virtual school last year. Okay. And the reason, there are several reasons for that. But I felt like, we were adjusted and we were accustomed. But it was something was different this year. It felt like maybe with my day job, there was more of this. It was too many meetings, first of all. Those meetings that could have been an email, it was a lot of those.
Right.
So trying to, tend to what's going on in front of me and then tend to her because she's not at the age where she can completely work independent. So she needs a lot of my help. I have to log her into stuff. If she gets redirected, once she did learn how to log in, there were times where she could get it was sending her somewhere else and she was like, wait, I memorized that. Well, mommy, what's going on? And she needs my attention. So it's just this constant pull. And again, I think just kind of underestimating various things. And probably also not really being honest with the toll that it was taking, or not noticing, maybe not being honest, because I think I'm pretty honest with myself, but I think maybe I didn't realize how bad it was until it got really bad and it was like, whoa, okay, this is an issue. So being I feel like Shakara, and I'm not trying to put you on blast, but you answered me and I appreciate that. I feel like it's not fear. It's being overwhelmed because I decided to eat 5 courses at once. How about that?
That's good. That's
good what analogy, I got. Mika. That's my insight.
So what's the wellness for the week? Is it self-care? Like, why are you laughing? Did I miss it?
No, it was a really good segue. Because you're like, well, since you figured out all of that, what you got to say to the people?
Mainly because
that's me projecting.
No, because we're already, because time flies when you're having fun. We're already at the halfway mark.
I see we at 8:30. Sorry, Reketta.
And I gotta bring in Reketta because she got some jewels to drop, and she got all these people. And
I know, right? Her people are great too.
Her people
they're engaging.
They are here. I'm like, they are here.
Oh, here. Hold on though. For the people that don't read the comments, Shakara, we're gonna have to connect offline, homie. She said overwhelm is still a fruit of fear. Okay.
Shakara need to come on the show.
Right.
Shakara, listen.
I want to explore that with you together.
Look, I told her she needs to come on the show. I gave her your information too.
Shani, I'm gonna steal her. Shani, I'm gonna steal her and bring her on my show first. How about that?
You can. The table is big enough for everybody. So
Shakara, Let's come on, ethereal people, and we'll explore this some more.
Right. Let me introduce. I'm
Go for it.
introducing. What do they say at church? I'm introducing Reketta.
To
Some
some
for the
and
first time. Like,
presenting to others.
yeah. Say it, Mika.
I think it's I introduce to some and present to others.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, here we go.
That's how they say it in my church.
I didn't mean that, Reketta. I didn't mean it like that. Reketta is from the West Coast, y'all. She is in California.
Reketta says she's from the East Coast, but lives on the West Coast.
Oh, where are you from?
Yes, I'm originally from
Live with 4,000
yes,
people.
I'm originally from DC.
You're originally from DC?
Yes, and I moved to California. So I've been out here for what I think I believe it's like 15 years now, and I've been in California.
Okay, I was born in California, and I'm now in DC. So that's just the total opposite. That's so funny. She's a clinical therapist and sharing her gift to the world of overcoming and victory through her therapeutic interventions. Her goal is to continue to help families who have experienced trauma or stressors, to learn healthy interventions through didactic art. Did I say that?
Dyadic art.
Dyadic art. We got to talk about what that is. Teach me. Talk therapy and play therapy. She's also a certified domestic violence advocate that continues to help women and children who have experienced domestic violence. And she has a book that I don't know the name of, that I never got.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make sure that I mail it out this week.
We always give a free book to a viewer. So, but that's all good. Welcome to the show, Reketta. Thank you. And thank you, Aisha, for the referral. How are you tonight?
Yes, I'm doing great. Just listening to some of the things that you guys were discussing, like procrastination. Yes, that is me. I have been procrastinating, but I'm getting on it right now. I'll say for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've been doing a lot better. And so just listening to even what you were saying, Shani, about writing your book, and I know that I gave myself several deadlines, and it took me 2 years to write a 97-page book, and it felt like it took forever. And so it was so much stuff that I wanted to put into it, and I felt like, okay, is this the right thing? Am I putting too much? Am I putting too little? And I was always unsure of what I was putting. And so eventually I had to just be like, okay, with it not being like this perfect image or what I thought other people would expect, and just know, like, all right, God, whoever I am going to get this book out to, or whoever needs it, then that's who will actually read it. And so I had the courage to actually publish the book.
Awesome. So is the book about your domestic violence journey, or?
Yes. And so this is the book.
That's the book.
Yes, this is the book that Shani is going to get for one of the special viewers. So you can still do whatever you were going to do, and then I'll still make sure to get it to you or the person, and we can do it that way.
Okay.
And so
and Shakara put in the comments, y'all, your website already. Your girl, she got your back.
Yes, thank you, Shakara.
We segue into that after we talk about the book, but I guess the first question, Reketta, is just tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you become this advocate?
Yes, so just as you stated, I am a clinical therapist, and just as Mika was saying, I am a huge advocate for therapy. So not only do I provide therapy, but I also receive therapy. And
we have to.
Yes, I agree, because it's a lot of heaviness, it's a lot of weight that you carry from hearing other people's struggles, and just dealing with day-to-day life. So even pandemic. So before the pandemic, and that's one thing that I can share from myself, I was never consistent with therapy. I was always very inconsistent. Like I would start it, I would go maybe for like a month, and then I would stop. And I felt like I kept hitting a roadblock. But for some reason, even though that I advocated for the parents and my clients, like you need therapy, you need to be consistent, you need to make that you're actually doing the work, but I wasn't doing the work for my own self. And even me being this person who was in school and, you know, looking from a person looking on the outside, they viewed me as, oh, this shy, timid girl, you know, who may have things all together. But I was really broken. I was really hurt inside. I was going through many poor relationships and just decisions that I made. And I hid it with my smile. I hid it by my accomplishments and all these goals. I was hitting all these things, hitting all these markers. I graduated from college. I moved from DC 3,000 miles away to come to school to California. And all I knew was, okay, I have to make sure I make my mom proud. I have to make sure I get this degree. I cannot go back to DC without a degree. Like that was the main that I was focused on. So even though that my heart and everything inside of me was just really dysfunctional, my mindset, I really didn't have a strong faith. I did believe in God. However, I didn't really have, in the beginning when I moved out here to California, I didn't really have a strong community. And so once I did get connected to a community, I started to build my faith more. I started really building a relationship with God. I learned from like the community around me how to read the Bible, how to pray, how to have a conversation.
Wonderful.
How we're talking right now. And so I was still already involved in poor relationships and just in an unhealthy relationship. And at first it went from like verbal and emotional, and then eventually it turned into physical. And so I started out in one relationship at first, and it did become physical. And since I was so broken and I had my relationship with my dad wasn't the best, and I grew up you know, with both my mom and dad in the beginning, and then later on they divorced. And so that lack of a father, I did try to find that through men. And so I feel like attached to men who needed nurture, men who felt like they needed someone to latch on to. And so that's how I got connected with these men. And I felt like, okay, maybe I can help them, and not knowing that really I was trying to connect with someone like my father. I was trying to build a relationship that I didn't have. And even though I sought out all these relationships, I was seeking out the wrong things because I still wasn't getting that from them. I was just moving on from the next relationship to the next. And then the second relationship I was into, it was another abusive relationship. And all along, I would only tell people like bits and pieces of what was happening, just enough to where it was like, okay, I don't want them to think that this relationship is absolutely crazy, so then I'll have to let it go. I'm just going to tell them bits and pieces of it. And so I was hearing parts of the story, but not the full thing. So none of them really knew what was going on. And like, I definitely had a lot of moments where it could have been crazy. Like I could have lost my life. The other person could have lost their life. And it just could have been a completely different story. And so really, my point was never to just create a book just to have a book and to say I wrote it, but it was to genuinely to show other people who may look like me or who may not look like me, because just because you're in college, just because you have a career, you're involved in church, just because you know, you're involved in all these things, it doesn't mean that you're not going through something, and especially with domestic violence. And even until this day, a lot of people are very surprised, and they're like, wow, I can't believe you, the person who's always smiling, who's always encouraging others, you're a therapist. Like, you wouldn't think that a person who's providing mental health, you know, and to other people, how could you get involved in that? But we don't wake up there's no day that you wake up saying, I want to be in an abusive relationship. And it's to transform into that, and eventually your mindset gets stuck there and you feel like, okay, maybe it's something I'm doing, maybe I should have said this differently, maybe I should have did this differently, and then you start questioning your own values, you start questioning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be the person to be able to show people that, yes, you don't have to stay in that place. You can be free. You don't have to feel like you need to connect with a person to be able to see who you are, but connecting with God, you're able to see who you are. And through my book, I share my story of freedom and how I went through it, because I think you do need to be transparent to help other people. If you're just constantly saying like,
you hit it.
you can do it, but you're not sharing anything from your own life of how you did it, then it's not really explaining how to do that. And so with my book, I not only share my story, but also there are like reflection questions where you can ask yourself. So even if you haven't been necessarily in an abusive relationship, we've all had some type of stressor. We've all been through some type of struggle. There's no one who hasn't been through anything. And so you can sit down and ask yourself those questions and to see, okay, where do I lie in these questions? What's something that I can do to move forward? Where can I see progression in my life? And I also have art therapy tools that you can use as well. And so there are different verbal prompts and art outlets that are in the book as well.
Reketta, you are so dope.
Yes, I'm like, where has she been? She's at the
I just kind of wanted
at the right time. Go ahead.
Yeah. I like the piece that you said about you know, being transparent to help others.
Yeah.
I personally feel like that is my calling from the creator, to be transparent. And the strongest reason I believe that is because there are times where I don't want to be transparent, and it just like it comes out because that's my ministry. That's my ministry. I ain't choose it, trust me. I did not choose that. I was chosen and I'm obedient. So there's that. Yeah. But in completely understanding both sides, right? Like I think we have a very unique position being therapists and then also being the client, right? Yes. So understanding what helps us and how we can help others. I do, even thinking about like childhood and stuff like that, you know, when our parents give us the because I said so, right? Or the because, right, without anything else. But just when we hear that, you know, when we are learning lessons, and we still do, even as adults, right? When we're learning and trying to grow and progress, it's not about knowing everybody's business, right? Because I know us as Black people, it is a cultural thing where we don't want people to know our business for various reasons. I do feel like there is a way for you to be transparent without every little detail being exposed, right? And I think it's a blessing. So I want to say thank you. Thank you. And as a child of a parent who was physically abused, a lot of what you said really resonated and kind of, you know, I revisited some things, those feelings that the victims have. I remember discussing those things with my mother, even as a child, you know, discussing a lot of those things, because victims of domestic violence, you know, the stereotype, the stigma that's placed on them. Till this day, I don't even understand how we blame the victim. There's a lack of empathy and understanding when you can tell a woman, or I'm sorry, because it's not just women that are physically abused, but when you can tell a victim of domestic abuse, it's their fault, right? Or you must have wanted it, or you would have left.
Right.
I think
we need some more love.
Yeah. And I also think a lot of it comes because it doesn't start off with a hit, right? And so
no, it rarely does.
It's never someone just doesn't hit you. It always is the emotional and the verbal,
right?
It always starts there. And with with emotional and verbal, it's so hard to point to name it. It's hard to name it because listen, I've shared this story on this show many times that I was sitting at a conference, and the speaker at the time was up there, and she was getting ready to give her testimony, and she said, I used to pray to God every night that my husband would hit me, so then I'd have a reason to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
And it was at that moment that I realized, this verbal tension is abusive. Pause real quick. Have you seen Malcolm and Marie?
No.
It's a hot topic though, and the clinic, the clinician groups that I'm in, apparently I should.
Apparently you should, because I'm telling you, I watched it over the weekend, and I was about to call my therapist because
I've been hearing that, yeah.
And I was like, this is I've experienced a night like that. And I've also, now, of course, you know me, always gotta bring in the I have to make it lightweight. So I was just like, but there were words, because I love words. And there was words that they were using on each other that I was like, if I could go back 5 years, so I could, because I want to use this. And then I realized how toxic that would be, and how toxic how toxic it is when you're in this verbal abusive back and forth, and all you want to do is just hurt people, and then hurt people, and then and because my biggest thing is and this goes back to your point earlier, Mika, about we don't want to tell people our business, because we don't want to tell people our business because we don't want our business to be thrown back at us. We don't want
it reveals our weaknesses,
weaponized, right? We don't want our words to be weaponized, and when you are with toxic people, that's what they do. Right? I decided to share my mess, and this is why this show exists, because I was tired of holding all that I was dealing with. I was tired of going to church and having to say, when somebody say, how are you doing? I'm good, because I was not good.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest place where you can find my mentor. Her father says phonies and letdowns. I think I'm saying it wrong, but anyway, that's the biggest place.
I know where you're going with it.
A phony and a letdown, because
we're being dismissed.
Honest. We're not honest about anything.
It's easy to be dismissed there too, right?
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard saints say, well, if he ain't beating you or cheating on you,
fake phony and letdowns. That's what it is. That's what it is. I'm sorry.
Fake phonies and letdowns. Yeah.
I had a brain fuse. I'm sorry, but
it's all good.
But let me get. Thank you. My mentor is listening. Thank you, Tad. It said fake phonies and letdowns. But yeah. So, but she also says verbal and emotional abuse can be far more painful and mentally disruptive than physical abuse. It's so true, because you could be in an abusive relationship, especially verbal, for so long, and then be like, this is abusive. This is not healthy.
Well, it's not implicit, right?
And then you'll be like, wait a minute, I think I just, because what was okay, for me, it was always, I didn't say that. I didn't do that. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't intend to do that. Listen, I started taking allyship courses, and when that lady freed me when she said, intention means nothing when it comes to
it don't. Yeah.
And she broke it down like this. I can have a gun and I could go out and shoot somebody. I intended to shoot somebody, right? The person is now dead, right? I can take a car and I can accidentally run somebody over. I didn't intend to kill them, but they're still gone. They still died. And your intentions mean nothing when it comes to impact. If the impact of your intentions hurt somebody, then you can't use I didn't intend to do that. It wasn't my
Right.
intention to do that. And that's what I used to always hear.
I agree. And I was even going to add, because you guys were bringing up things from like childhood, I think even as children, a lot of things are ingrained in our mind, which teaches this isn't really emotional abuse. This is okay. Like I had said before, a lot of parents say, fix your face before you, or don't make me come over there, and just certain things, or
I'm gonna give you something to cry about.
I'm gonna give you
exactly, or I beat you because I love you, and things like that. And so just hearing those comments and you constantly them, then it does ingrain in your mind, and you are think like, okay, this is what love is supposed to be. So when you get older, you really don't know the difference. And so many people, they really do downplay emotional abuse. Even when I was in my relationship, I remember some of my ex's family members and friends looking at me like I was crazy because I just to leave the relationship, because they were like, it wasn't even that bad though. I used to get my teeth used to get knocked out. I used to get black eyes. I used to get this, and you saying this, and you're telling me that you want to leave them. And so then it made me start to think to myself, okay, am I doing something? Right. So then that's when I had a tug of war within my own self, like, okay, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe you're saying these words because you accept it for so long and you hear it. And if there is anyone here on this call right now who is having any type of emotional abuse, if someone's calling you out of your name, if they're telling you you're less than yourself, if they're telling you that you're low, you're stupid, you're beneath them, anything that is not of God or who God has called you to be, then that is emotional and verbal abuse. And no matter how try to say or justify because that person is their family member or connected to them in some way, it's still wrong and it's unacceptable. And because once you start to hear that so much, you do start to believe it, and then that's how you feel are, and you no longer are able to connect with who you actually are.
That's so true. That's so true. Let me get some comments in here.
There's some good ones in there, Shani.
Yeah, if I missed one, Shakara said yes. The reasons don't count, only the results. That's what Ty said. I mentioned fake phonies and letdowns. So we're speaking live. If you have a question or comment, put it in the chat. I didn't press one. I didn't press one. So, Reketta, can you tell people where they can get the book? What is the book name?
Yes, the book is called His Sorry Transformed My Life. And a lot of people, they are very curious about that title, but that's to get the book to understand why that is the title of the book.
His sorry transformed my life.
Yes. And so basically,
I like that.
Thank you. Just to give a brief synopsis, basically the title, it comes from because I was so used to hearing his apology, and I was so used to hearing him say sorry every time he did something, whether it was he hit me, he pulled my hair, threw me on the ground, whatever it was, I will always come back. I would always take him back no matter what, because he would apologize to me. And for some reason, that apology meant the world to me. So everyone has a reason why they do stay. But the very last time with the physical and emotional abuse, I remember I said, okay, I'm going to the police station and I'm going to report you. And we had just been like physically fighting, like throwing blows. And it was really bad. I had like bruises all over my body. It got to a point where it was intense. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to report you to the police. I'm going to the station. And I was literally, as sad as it may sound, I was literally laying in the bed hoping that he was going to apologize to me and just to say sorry. and I knew I would be back in the same situation like I usually was. And as I was crying to myself, he never he never apologized. He never said, I'm sorry. And so that was literally the breaking point for me, where I was able to see, wow, he really isn't sorry. He didn't say it this time. And I know that so small to people, but for some reason I held on to that apology like it was God. Like God telling me, okay, because in my head, I think of forgiveness. You're supposed to forgive.
Right.
And I've learned through my journey that forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Just because
Hello.
does not mean that you come back with that person. You can forgive them in your heart, and you can allow them to go on their separate ways. And so after I did not receive that apology, and I did go to the police station, and that's where I was able to receive my freedom. And I ended up going to a domestic violence shelter and continuing on my process. And you can find out more information in the book. And like I said, I really got connected with community, which is my church that I still attend now. And I've been going there, I want to say it's probably been almost 10 years. And they really helped me. They helped me walk through the process. They didn't make me feel ashamed or guilty about anything. They didn't make me feel embarrassed. And I also have family who now I feel more free. And at first I wasn't as comfortable as sharing my story because I was embarrassed and I didn't know how others would take it or what people would say. And so now I feel like me going to therapy, me having my relationship with Jesus, having a community where I feel safe and I can talk to people, that I've been able to build that. So if you guys would like to have freedom in any area of your life, like I said, that this book isn't only for domestic violence victims, you can apply it in any area, and to be able to go through the reflection questions and to just evaluate some things that are going on in your heart, some things that you may need your mindset to be shifted in certain areas, to be shifted. So I would encourage you, my website is my first and last name, Reketta Nesmith, RekettaNesmith.com. You can purchase your book from there, RekettaNesmith.com, or you can also purchase on Amazon as well. So his Sorry for My Life. So either one, but if you would like an autograph from me, you will have to purchase it on the website from RekettaNesmith.com.
Listen, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to, because I am an advocate for the independent author. And we interview a lot of authors on this show. And when they be sending people to Amazon, I cringe. Because I'm like, girl, you not even going to see your little $12.
Yes.
You're going to get, like, you know, like, and I
have learned
I'm like, if you don't get your website with your name instead of, I'm so excited.
Yes.
You said if you want an autograph, look, we're not going to Amazon. Amazon is for the credibility only.
Yes.
Y'all better go get her book from her website. That's all I'm going to say. Buy black. Amazon, get your paper towels from Amazon. Get your books from the author.
Yes,
period.
Thank you. I try to make it as convenient as possible for people because I know some people are Amazon lovers. So I try to put that in there just in case. But
we're not doing that on this show. No, I'm just kidding. If y'all want to go to Amazon, go to Amazon. But
yes,
go to her website.
It's definitely my website. Yes, RekettaNesmith.com. And you can even check out just different things about myself. I'm going to start adding more content onto the website as well. So I'll have like different self-care challenges. So even what Mika was just talking about, I'm going to upload a self-care challenge. I'm also going to upload a devotional as well. So just something that you can continue to walk through. But yes, check out the website, RekettaNesmith.com. And like I said, I'm all about helping people discover joy, discover purpose. One of my taglines is thriving is starting where you thought life would end. And so
I like that.
And that's the truth.
I felt like my life was pretty much in shambles and going to end if I left that relationship. And then that's where I actually saw the most growth when I did leave. Like, yes, it was very uncomfortable. It hurt a lot. in the process. And I'm not, at my final destination even right now. And I'm still going through the healing process. And every now and then certain things will pop up and where I see triggers. And that's why I do think it's important to have therapy. But my main thing, like, I feel like, yes, therapy is amazing and it's awesome, but still having that relationship with God as well, because I feel like a therapist can't give you what God can give you. And so
hello,
having both of those together, I feel like are very important. So you can have all
a tag team.
therapy.
It's a tag
Exactly.
team. It's the best thing
Exactly.
ever. And we
I
got to
agree.
realize that, because I can't take those church people like just pray it away. I'm all for prayer. I write books on
Right.
prayer, right?
Right.
But let's remember that God has helpers, right?
Right.
So there
Exactly.
are therapists out there. You're a therapist. Mika's a therapist. Y'all do therapy and y'all love God. Like, come on, like if it,
Exactly.
like you can do both.
I
I
agree.
do want to shout out this because I thought it was really important. We were talking about like what we were learning as children, and one of the
hmm
Mhm.
comments Ty put in the comments, "I beat you because I love you," is a generationally perpetuated pattern, right?
hmm
Like we are associating like this pain with love, which that's a whole nother topic. But
Mhm.
struggle love, like if we ain't battling in a relationship, then it ain't love. It's a lot of
Mhm.
people that are carrying that stronghold. Let's talk about that.
Yes. Yes. That's
Like,
like when you hear people say relationship goals and
right.
Bonnie and Clyde and just certain people that they're comparing who they see. And it's like, that's not what you really want. Or
Yeah, like Bonnie and Clyde died and they wasn't even 25. Like, why are we
it,
doing that? Why
exactly.
like I don't even like let's remember to tell the whole story.
I agree. And even,
Uh
Things are
even just,
glorified. The
right.
wrong things are glorified. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Even just with social media. And that's where my
hmm
issue still lies right now with social media. And that's why I kind of go in phases where I like break away from social media and then I'll get back
Yeah.
not really on it as much, just because that was something that I did struggle with. That was a part of my journey. I was constantly trying to post these things on social media to have this
hmm
perfect image. And that's all
Yeah.
people saw. So that's what people thought of me, like, oh, wow, she has it together. She has this,
Right.
moved to California. She has her degree. She has this job. And it was like, that was making me feel good because that's what people were seeing, not knowing that I was
hmm
in my bedroom crying every night,
Mhm.
fighting with my ex-boyfriend and physically getting in fights, verbally being called all kinds of names, thinking of myself as stupid, thinking of myself
hmm
those things that he called me, but only thing that I was posting were the things that I wanted people to think about me and what I wanted people to see. And so something
hmm
I am continuing to work on is to be honest with people and to be transparent. My life is not all that great. I do have times where I fail. I do have times where I still do dysfunctional things. I do have times where I'm still petty.
hmm
All kinds of issues. And so I want
I
people
feel triggered.
like I want people to know that, and I want people to know just because you're a therapist, that doesn't mean that you're perfect. Just because you're an advocate, that doesn't mean that you haven't went
hmm
anything. And so how I usually like to start off when I do share who I am is to say, like, I'm a survivor, I'm a therapist who receives therapy, I'm an advocate who went through domestic violence, I help
hmm
children who have experienced trauma, and I've experienced trauma in my childhood as well as my adulthood, to show that you can overcome those things, but you have to get through it. You have to heal, and you have to be okay with letting people know, I'm not okay. This is where I
hmm
help. And I feel like that's where the beginning is, when you're able to release and say, I'm not okay right now.
Yeah.
hmm
Yep. Yeah. This has been awesome. I'm loving the people that are coming on the show, Mika. Like, thank you. Thank you for coming on
Sparking
tonight.
conversation, meaningful
Yes.
conversation.
Thank
Needed.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. Needed
It's
conversation.
needed. is needed
It really
because
is. Yeah, it
we're
really
going through some stuff right now. Not that we haven't ever gone through anything before. It is definitely different. I don't think anybody in our generation has ever been trapped, you know, in the things that we are going through. And this topic is very timely because as a therapist, seeing the numbers, you know, seeing client requests go up, and you know what I do on my day job, seeing the amount of deaths happen because of this very topic, because of domestic violence, right? And just kind of, you were talking about petty. I said I feel triggered because right, we're still human beings with emotions, right? And there are times where I really do like to do my best to extend grace that has been extended to me. But I gotta say that there are times where I'm confused, not confused, bothered when the people that are put in place to help, so us, right? Therapists, we're helpers. No, we're not perfect, but we are helpers. And so I think with that in mind, our accountability is that much stronger and that much thicker and that much more important. And so, you know, I can definitely be petty, but I will check myself on it. I'll call myself out on it. You know, I'll be like, okay, that's the petty Tamika, don't do that. Woo, and you know, I'll kind of review that, why I feel that way. But you know, it's a defense mechanism, but it's also a way of not communicating. And I'm the shutdown queen. I will shut it down. You really want to see who can be more quiet? Let's see who's gonna win. I ain't got to speak to you. I don't have to say a word to you. I am so self-sufficient.
I need to talk.
I am so self-sufficient. I ain't got to say nothing.
I have to talk. I talked so much. I used to get in trouble for talking. That's what
so did I. But let me tell you.
Do not ignore me. That talk about a trigger.
Don't get on my bad side, Shani.
And don't ignore me and don't leave me. My grandfather had a big red truck. It was a big red Ford truck with a light blue cab, and he was trying to leave to go do some extermination, and he was playing with me, and he told his brother, distract her while I leave. And I looked out that window and I saw that truck, because everywhere that truck went, I was supposed to go.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like nobody leaving.
It's abandonment is a real thing. Abandonment is a real thing. Well, let me tell you why I don't ignore. I won't ignore you. I will not ignore you. I probably have already told you, just don't talk to me. So if you keep trying to talk to me, then I'm not going to answer you, because I need a moment. When I say give me a moment, I need a moment.
What's that Fantasia song? If you don't like it, just don't talk to me.
Yeah. Free yourself. It's called Free Yourself.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't want me, just don't. Yeah.
Ty said, I'm with you. No,
I see.
that is not true, Ty. Ty, see, she tried to. This is what my business bestie, my sister, my friend, my homie is the most direct person in the universe. Like, she's
ain't no other way. Ain't no other way. I don't have no fluff.
If she has an issue, she's gonna she puts her big girl pants on. She tells you about the issue.
Say what you need to say.
And then that's it. And she shuts it down.
Well, I don't understand any other way. Say what you need to say.
And then I'm just like, oh, you did that.
What'd you say, Reketta?
I was saying, see, for me, because I think how I was conditioned growing up, and sometimes it was shown as disrespect. You don't talk to that, even if it was something that they were totally wrong about, or that was really, that should not have been said, or unacceptable. You weren't supposed to say anything to the adult, or even now.
Don't back talk.
Right, exactly. And so I think with that, I was conditioned, and even again going into my adult relationships, and I was is the one who was afraid of conflict, because when you conflict, you think of conflict as being a bad thing. But again, that conflict is not a bad thing. It's
so necessary.
No, conflict and tension is not a bad thing. We gotta sit in tension, and we are so. And I'm gonna make it biblical because this is like a kind of faith-based show. But anyway. I'm good at
but conflict isn't always about tension either. It really is just a difference in opinion.
Right. But we make
How dare you think I'm supposed to agree with you all the time? I ain't you, and you ain't me.
Exactly. And we make it that way, and in our mind,
we do.
We're like, okay, because we don't agree.
It's pride and ego.
Is that it's about to be going
keep coming up every. Why she asked me, have I been drinking? No. Am I lying?
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
it's pride and ego for real,
I
though.
do drink, but I guess maybe I'm a little more animated. I'm just excited.
It's okay. You freed yourself, Shani.
I freed off the energy of the guests.
Energy
of the guests. And you know what, Lord, I'm not even going to say that because then I won't be booked for the second half of the year. I'm like, if y'all dry, please don't come on this show.
Is there anything wrong with that? Oh. Do dry people know they're dry?
Please.
Maybe they don't know. Maybe they're not dry. Maybe they're just not your type.
I told Reketta, let's make the interview conversational. It's two people. I forgot to say my line, Reketta. My line is pretend it's just two girlfriends catching up with their favorite drink. Now, to be honest,
it's confidence though. Reketta is confident.
She's very confident. My favorite drink, my favorite non-alcoholic drink is coffee.
Yeah, share that. No, don't share that. Don't share that. No coffee.
Like coffee.
I want to get everybody off of coffee. It's a bad drug.
But my favorite, it's a pandemic. I've been drinking a lot more wine than usual. But I really like Cosmos. But I don't even drink Cosmos anymore, to be perfectly honest. I'm just sharing my mess. Anyway, it's not.
It's okay. Shani says she has not been drinking.
I've not been drinking, but I've just been excited. I'm excited for this conversation. I thank you, Reketta. I did put your website in the comments before we
log off.
I want to shout out to some people. Of course, Shakara. Is that how you pronounce it?
Shakara, yes, Shakara Knox.
Ty, Carlisha, Aisha.
Yo, these sound like Jersey people. We black up in here.
Well,
I love it.
Shout out to Philly.
Yes.
Philly's in the house too.
Aisha.
Yes.
Aisha.
HOD is in the house. Reds, Rico, thank you for listening.
HOD.
Did I miss anybody?
Is Cherie on there?
Eric, thank you for listening.
Cherie.
Jeanette, thank you for listening. You see anybody else? Mika, Barbara, Minister Higgs, thank you for listening. Steve,
Jeanette Corporal,
thank you for listening. You gotta get all the people, because if you don't, people when you go on live, they want to hear
Cherie Felder.
Yes,
thank you for listening. Brianna.
Felder is there.
Brianna, yes.
Thank you for listening. Heather, thank you for listening. Who else?
Jeanette Corporal Cox.
Thank you for listening. This has been amazing. And like I said, Bianca is listening. Norman is listening. Thank you so much for coming on and supporting your girl. Not me. I'm talking about Reketta. This was
Reketta got a crew.
Reketta got
a crew that supports, might I add.
Yes, I appreciate it. Some people weren't able to make it tonight, so I would love to come back on or connect.
Yes, absolutely.
And next time I will tell them the correct link to go on.
It's all good. They've been really good residents. They've been so quiet. Nobody interrupting. Nobody pressing up. Nobody drawing on the screen or nothing. They so good. Shakara sound like she was supposed to be my homie, right? Like,
yes.
so you know,
I need
Shakara in a
Shakara to
virtual
come on the
world.
show.
The
Totally.
virtual world, we could be virtual friends. We could be real
Yes.
friends. I don't know. Something about Shakara, I like her. So thank
Yes.
you.
I totally need her to come on the show.
Yes.
She can come on your podcast first, Mika, because we're booked through May 3rd.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, congratulations.
Those are good problems to have.
Good problems to have. And so I thank you all. The Sharing with Shani Show highlights ordinary
Hold on,
people.
wait. One more thing, because we got an in-house message. Norman would like to know how to get interested in learning about God. And I told him I got him, right? And so Norman, you can always hit me up offline. I'm gonna leave you my email. But one thing I want to say, because there could be other people out there asking the same question. All right. Let me tell you the importance of having a personal relationship with the creator. Think about your favorite.
Mika,
what?
Before
we
you
about to get kicked off?
No.
Okay. I was like, what we doing? Okay.
Listen, don't do me like that.
I thought it was like scheduled.
No. I want you to do. I think you're doing a disservice to the question. So can you read his entire comment?
Well, Norman, are you okay with me reading your whole question? Just give me a yes or a no. I didn't really want to like. Okay. Norman says, how do I really get interested in learning God? I find it tough because it's almost as if I don't understand it all. Reading the Bible or in church, my mind goes somewhere else, or I may fall asleep. How can I change this? Need a reset in my life, to be honest. And so, first of all, Norman, thank you for your transparency and honesty. All right. Secondly, I want to say you have very valid questions. And so I'm going to give this, the first answer I'm going to give is kind of a broad general answer. You can get interested. There are several ways you can learn more, right? And I think the more you learn, the more like thirst and passion you'll have for it. I'm going to encourage you to create your own personal relationship with the creator, right? Don't base it on anybody else's relationship. Don't base it on anything anybody is really telling you what it should look like. Okay, this is a personal thing. Your relationship with the creator is personal and intimate. And so if you can think about the most favorite, loving, intimate relationship that you have with, you know, any human on the planet, think about what that feels like, right? Like the value in that, the honor in that, the respect, the love, and the passion in that. And it's just times, you know, some great exponent that doesn't even compute. Okay, it's a really wonderful thing. And the more we foster a personal relationship with the creator, the easier everything else comes for us. So church is great, because a good church, that's important. Yes. A good church is great. Church. Right. And so, and in trying to discover a good church, I think it would be important to pray for discernment. You may not know how to pray. You may be thinking, I don't know what that looks like. You can just repeat those words. Father God, I'm praying for discernment. And it's that basic, right? God is not an enigma. He really is not. He's not a puzzle. He desires for us to desire him. And in that, you know, there's a lot of songs that say like chasing after God. We don't have to chase after him. He is there for us. We really just have to receive him. So, and the most basic prayer and communication, and don't think of prayer as this complex thing either. Just talk to him. Talk to him the same way you type this for us to read it. Just talk to him. Hey, God, you're not if you're listening, because he is. I know you're listening. This is what's on my heart. Just invite him into that space. I promise you, he will show up for you. I promise you that.
And I would like to add that you don't need to read anything, because the word says that faith comes by hearing, doesn't come by reading. So you will get there in terms of reading, but you don't need to, right at this point, you just need to hear. You need to hear conversations like this. You need to hear um authentic teaching. So when Mika says find a church that is a good church, I take that to mean a teaching church, right? A church that is going to teach you practical tools and practical steps and all these things, because you're not going to learn anything right now in the headspace of where you're at by reading anything, because the Bible is really for those that believe. That's why people who that's what it says. It's for the believer. The Bible is for the believer. So when you are in this space of I don't know what, it's like all confusing. Look, even I write books on prayer, and even I go into prayer and meditation with a whole bunch of things running through my head. Ooh, what's that on the wall? Ooh, did so and so get their homework? Did I take that trash
Distraction.
out? Ooh,
It's distraction.
all of that right when I'm about to go
Mm-hmm.
into prayer. So all of those things that are in your mind, God can use all of that. He can use
Mm-hmm.
all of that, and He already knows that that you're about to do all that. So you just come to Him as you are, and and transformation begins because you are willing, because you said
I think that's the great thing about the creator. He meets us where we are. We ain't got to
yes.
fix nothing
We don't have to
before we
fix
go.
anything.
There's nothing to clean up before you get clean. It's nothing to fix before you get fixed. It's nothing for you to do
Yes.
other than invite him in. That's it.
Invite him in.
It's really just your words. God, I invite you into my heart. He gonna show up. He's
Right, because
ready. He's waiting. He's willing.
Absolutely.
right, because he knows that we're imperfect, that he's the perfect.
Exactly.
So if
Exactly.
he already knows we're imperfect and he created you and he is perfection, then who else would we go to? That means that
Right.
we go to him to get all the answers. So even if it's something as simple as asking him, okay, right now I really don't understand the Bible, God, please help me to learn how to even study it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Scripture
Yes.
to me, allow me to be able to ask questions, or like just
Mm-hmm.
like study for a test or how we would study for anything. That's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Have to study the Bible if you're really trying to understand it more, and definitely
Mm-hmm.
saying connecting with the church, and not only just connecting and going to the church and saying signing up like, all right, I go here, but actually get invested in the church, get involved. And so then that way you can have like accountability and be able to
Mm-hmm.
really like connect and see yourself grow. Because I think sometimes even if you just go to a church and sometimes people are just like, well, it's not really doing anything for me, but what have you
Mm-hmm.
to help it do something for you? So you have to be
Mm-hmm.
your own process.
Right.
Absolutely.
Let me
Absolutely.
share with y'all the definition of steady, because sometimes we hear that word and we get a little intimidated, right? Steady is just the devotion. Devotion, that is the key word right there. Devotion of time and attention, okay, to acquire knowledge on a particular subject. That's it. It's really that simple. So, in order, to establish and grow any relationship, we got to devote something. We got to give some time. We got to
Yeah.
give that time. You
Yeah.
cannot, foster anything without investing time.
Yes.
So start there. Norma, I greatly appreciate that question.
That was a great question.
Yes.
It's a brave question. It really is a brave question, because there are a lot of people that are not brave in that area to share, their desire to want to know. And also, Norman, I want to tell you, the seed has been planted, bro.
It is. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, my cup is full, y'all.
Is
Because
it running over? Is it running over?
yes,
All
because
right. I
we've
just want to
like
know.
because like this is why this show exists. I think we have shared love, we have shared light, we have shared life tonight. The Sharing with Shani show highlights ordinary people working for an extraordinary God, sharing love, light, and life. We air every Monday night on Facebook Live. The replay will be on YouTube as soon as I give it to Rico.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Norman, I'm gonna send you an invite.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Reketta. Thank you, Mika. Thank you, everyone that's listening. Please, 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 if you have a story to share, you don't need a book, but you could definitely go to ShaniMcElwain.com and book your slot to come on the show. If you have, we can share love, light, and life. That's all the topics. That's the topic.
So Shani,
yes,
you know what I didn't share?
What?
I didn't give a whisper.
You did not.
I didn't give a whisper, and it's all good because you know what? It revealed itself, though. It revealed itself. Study to show yourself approved.
Yes. I was just gonna say that.
Thank you, y'all. God bless you. Peace.
Happy Black History Month.
Yes.
It's February.
I'm doing a show.
I love being Black.
I'm doing a show next Monday, but I know you don't do holidays. But our show.
Nah, I'll be on. That ain't no holiday. Sorry.
I mean, it wasn't for me, but you know.
Can you edit that out?
I can't.
Don't edit it out.
We don't need to.
It's good.
Black History
Everybody
Month.
know how I feel. I'm wearing a Negro League sweatshirt. Everybody know how I feel.
I'm speaking.
It's a day off.
Hello.
I'll be on the show.
Nicole Muhammad will be our special guest, y'all. Thank you. Bye.